This is an ABC News special report.
Good morning, everybody. We're coming on the air here live from the scene of that devastation here in Surfside, Florida. The scene behind me where the work continues to dig through that rubble for possible survivors after that, of course, 12-story building collapse. We are waiting to get an update. The press conference that's supposed to start here shortly. We're expecting that to get underway, but the update we did get so far this morning was that the death toll has gone up to at least four people confirmed dead in this building collapse, partial building collapse of this residential building, and 99 unaccounted for. We do want to turn now to the mayor and listen in for the update.
120 people now accounted for, which is very, very good news. But our unaccounted for number has gone up to 159. In addition, we can tragically report the death count is now 4. I want to be very clear about the numbers. They're very fluid. We'll continue to update you as we have them, but we have confirmed 4 deaths. The search and rescue team worked throughout the night, and it was a very active scene from above and below. And we also brought heavy machinery onto the site to assist with the operation. And so we are very, very grateful that our president has now authorized FEMA support, and we're joined here today by our FEMA representative who can tell you more. And that is going to assist us in our recovery efforts as well to assist the families. We have the resources for the families at the Family Reunification Center. We've been actively providing them everything that they need: food, shelter, cash to assist with their basic needs, and grief counseling. Obviously a very critical component as we move forward, as people are anxiously waiting for news of their loved ones. At this time, we have received all of the donations of goods and volunteers that we can handle at this time. We're very, very grateful for everyone who has contributed, and we will let people know as the need presents. But we do have 2 funding sites available for cash donations: supportsurfside.org and Chesed, CHESED, 2 sites that are receiving donations. So as we work tirelessly and stand united, local, municipal, county, state, and now federal support, we are going to work as hard as we can to continue our search and rescue effort. That is our priority. That is where we're focused, and protecting our first responders who are on the scene. So thank you, everyone. God bless. Y ahora en español puedo decir que desafortunadamente esta noche fue muy difícil. Podríamos decir que tenemos 4 que han desaparecido. 4 personas.
All right, we just got a significant update from the mayor there about the efforts here. That update is that the number we got yesterday of 99 unaccounted for has now gone up to 159 that are unaccounted for. 159 people they believe were in that building right now. They have not been able to get in contact with. And you got to keep that in some kind of context. It doesn't necessarily mean that all 159 are somewhere still in that building under that rubble needing to be rescued or worse, but it's just that's 159 folks that families can't get a hold of right now. So they're trying to track those folks down. We still do know that 100 plus have been located, but also the death toll has gone up to 4 dead at this point, and also they did confirm another 4. They did pull from the rubble as well that have been rescued. So that is a very significant update. The work here continues. Our Victor Kendo, who has been reporting here from essentially the moments after this collapse did take place. He's been on the scene here with me as well. And Victor, that is a significant jump in the unaccounted, 159 now.
Yeah, TJ, that is absolutely a devastating update. I just had a chance to speak with Florida's state fire marshal, and he did explain, though, that they wouldn't be bringing in all of these additional resources if there wasn't still hope of finding some survivors alive, somehow trapped underneath all of that rubble. But here are just some of the obstacles that they're facing. Number one, the structural integrity of the building. It could still come down at any moment here entirely, and if not, there's still some debris that could fall off. Any weight that could get into the structure right now in that rubble, really dangerous as these rescue crews work diligently underneath all of that. There's also the rain that has been on and off. You can think of that as like another fire hose, adding water weight to it. And on top of that, fires have been sparking on and off here, so they've had to put those fires out, adding even more weight to the building here. Yet still, you have these men and women who have been working through the night. They have tunneled in underneath, gotten in through the basement here. This is dangerous but delicate work. They have to work in shifts, sometimes just 15 minutes at a time. We also asked him about the reports that these rescuers had heard some kind of knocking. And he explained that while that might be some positive news, there was still a lot of just other noise here. You've got helicopters in the air. There's fire trucks all over the scene here. So they have to really hone in and focus as they continue searching for survivors. DJ?
Rescue operations continue throughout the night.
Victor, thank you. We're going to go back to the press conference and listen in now.
Members from Florida Task Force 1. To echo the message of our great mayor, we are pulling additional resources from FEMA to assist and to provide relief for some of those individuals. This is coupled with the firefighters already on scene, bringing the total of 130 firefighters through this operation. As you saw, that we did have the fire reignite, but it did not slow down our search and rescue operations. However, during our search and rescue operations, we did encounter 3 victims that were deceased. They were removed, and as she had mentioned, we bring the total to 4 fatalities. Again, search and rescue operations still continue. We have heavy machinery on scene to start pulling some of the superficial metal from above as we start looking for additional voids from above. Again, search and rescue still continues from below as we tunnel, utilizing heavy light machinery. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. To provide Spanish, we're going to have Public Information Officer Erica Benitez from Miami-Dade Fire.
Buenos días. Hoy nuestras operaciones de búsqueda y rescate continúan. Nosotros tenemos equipo adicional trabajando en esta
As we continue to get the updates from the officials about this building collapse, again, some 24 plus hours now after this building collapsed. Again, the first report started coming in at about 1:30 in the morning. That was overnight yesterday. The daylight gave us a real sense of the devastation, and the scene is just really unimaginable to see what the building was before and to see what it is now and the work that continues now. And the update we got just a short time ago, and this is an important one, that they are looking through that rubble, and this work is slow, it's methodical, it's dangerous, but 159 people are now unaccounted for. That's the update we just got a short time ago. So that is what that is the motivation. That is what they're doing. They pulled 4 from the rubble already, so now there's a hope that they could pull out more. So let me go back now to this, to the press conference as we continue to get the update from the officials here. Let's listen.
Currently, right now, as it was stated, we have 4 victims that lost their lives. Our homicide detectives are working with the medical examiner's office right now to identify those victims, and we have victim advocates as well that next of kin notifications will be made. In terms of the scene here, we're here supporting fire rescue with their search and rescue. Scene security is paramount because heavy equipment is arriving, and we're going to have a very restricted access to this area. Go to Spanish really quick. Estamos rezando por las víctimas. Hemos perdido 4 personas que han fallecido. Nuestros detectives están trabajando para identificar a las víctimas y también avisar a la familia. Estamos manteniendo la área restricta porque tenemos equipo aquí muy fuerte, so vamos a seguir trabajando y ayudando el Fire Rescue. Gracias.
Thank you, Director. We're going to have Kevin Guthrie. He represents the Florida Division of Emergency Management.
Morning, everyone. Kevin Guthrie, Director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management. Overnight, we had a mutual aid request go in that is being handled by the State Fire Marshal's Office for additional urban search and rescue teams. You know that Florida Task Force 2, which is out of the city of Miami, is going to be the first to help rotate in to help Miami-Dade Fire Rescue here at the site. We have put the additional search and rescue teams throughout the state. There's a total of 8 teams throughout the state, so that's an additional 6 teams have been put on standby to rotate in as needed at the request of Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. So that has happened. At 12:26 this morning, you heard the mayor refer to it. At 12:26 a.m. this morning, I received the emergency declaration from FEMA, and that has happened. That is going to turn on what is referred to as Category A, debris removal, Category B, emergency protective measures, and individual assistance for FEMA reimbursement. We will be providing throughout the day additional details as more FEMA staff roll in on the individual assistance piece, but I think we should set the expectation now that that will be limited to addresses at 8777 Collins Road. So please just know that that is coming. As I said, FEMA is on the way. The first individual came in about 3 a.m. this morning. That is our state regional coordinator, Paul Williams. He is going to be followed by about 15 additional personnel from FEMA throughout the day. And then we also have additional staff from the Florida Division of Emergency Management coming in throughout the day as well today. I would be remiss if I didn't say the entire team that works in Tallahassee is activated. The men and women there are ready to support as needed. And again, you know, as we've always said at these disasters, FEMA helps federally support a disaster. The state helps manage the disaster, but everything is executed at a local level. So again, federally supported, state managed, locally executed, and that's what we are teaming up here with Miami-Dade County to make sure that that happens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Guthrie. And next speaker, we're going to have Mr. Ryan Logan give important information regarding the Red Cross.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Logan. I'm the Regional Disaster Officer for the American Red Cross here in South Florida. And we, like these other organizations, were on scene in the early hours of yesterday morning, beginning to provide whatever support we could to those that have been displaced. Yesterday morning, we worked with both the city of Surfside as well as the Miami-Dade County to begin to support the opening and the operation of the reception center and the family reunification center. As well as we have mobilized additional resources, supplies, and most importantly, some of our trained mental health, and spiritual care workers are coming in here locally, but we're also bringing in trained experts that have really dealt with this type of situation from across the country, because we really want to make sure that we're truly providing the necessary support for not only just those that have been directly and indirectly impacted, but the community at large. We also have been working with the families that have been displaced to try to secure temporary lodging for them. And we've begun the casework process to really start them to think about just some of the basic next steps that they may need to take moving forward. In addition to that, we know that everybody really wants to help during these times, and that's what makes us the country that we are. But for the Red Cross, we would just say that we have the necessary supplies and financial assistance that we need to support these organizations. So we would just encourage that anybody wanted to make any other donation, we had reference to the groups that the mayor referenced to funnel their resources there. And then most importantly, I think it's important that folks know that this is a difficult time for everybody, whether you're here locally or you're seeing these images 3,000 miles away. So one of the things that we really encourage folks is really take time for yourself. Go to our website, redcross.org. We've got a ton of information there just on how folks can really help to manage their own coping with this, as well as just how to have the conversations with children that may be seeing these images, asking a lot of questions. And then we also will be bringing that same level of community support here so that we can actually also focus on the community resilience as we move forward. Thanks.
We're going to break into the questions and answer session. I ask you to please raise your hand once you're called upon, and then just identify who it is the question is referred to, and then we'll move one at a time. But we'll try to get to everyone as much as possible.
Mayor, if we can. First, thank you for briefing us. This is still a search and rescue operation. Have you seen anything that leads you to believe there are still people alive there?
We will continue search and rescue because we still have hope that we will find people alive. That is exactly why we're continuing, and that is why we're using our dogs and our sonar and our cameras, everything possible to seek places where there may still be people to be found.
There's been some rumors about a possible sinkhole. Can you speak about that?
What kind of a hole?
Possible sinkhole under the building?
No, I can't confirm that. They're actively involved in search and rescue from both below and from above at this time.
Sure. Chief Jadala, can you please talk about the tactics that your teams are using? You mentioned sort of going from above with some artificial metal or something, and then also below, just to take us through what's happening.
So throughout the night, no different than from when we began operations. So as the heavy machinery comes in, we will begin removing some of the debris from above, some of the light debris. As we place those devices to look for voids, we start looking for additional victims. We are listening for sounds. It's not specifically, human sounds. It could be, tapping. It could be steel, kind of twisting. It could be some of the debris kind of raining down. So we concentrate in those areas. From below, we continue with using light machinery, saws, jackhammers as we continue to tunnel through underneath.
Just to pick up on that, sir, we have heard rumors that there has been some tapping that has been picked up. Is that correct?
It's not necessarily tapping, it's just sounds. And what I reference to sounds, it could be various things. It could be just steel twisting, it could be debris raining down, but not specifically sounds of tapping or sounds of a human voice.
Are there a lot of voices?
Channel 4?
Yeah, I just want to confirm, Chief, if you can talk a little bit more about those sounds that maybe your crews are listening for, and are they hearing, and follow up as well. Do you still believe that there are people trapped alive under that rubble?
We, as the mayor had said, we have hope, and every time that we hear sound, we concentrate in that area. So we send additional teams, utilizing the devices, utilizing K9, and utilizing personnel. So as we continue to hear those sounds, we concentrate in those areas.
When was the last time your crews did hear a sound out there?
Throughout the night, every night,
Still right now, they're hearing.
Currently, as we continue through the operations, as we hear the various sounds, we deploy those devices, including personnel, and we start concentrating on those areas.
Last two, sir.
Chief, you actually back up. New York Times, can you please advise as to the methodology to locate the unaccounted people? Is it presumed that they're all physically inside the building, or are you calling family and friends, or?
So we couple that information with the information that we received from the reunification center, so we utilize that number. So as I had stated yesterday, the entire building, the portion that's still standing, was cleared by rescue crews. So at this point now, all resources have been shifted to the rubble, including from above and from below.
We're going to have the gentleman, the Associated Press, and we're done for the day.
There was a national TV report last night that you guys had made contact with somebody with a cell phone. That turned out that's not correct.
That's unfounded. That's unfounded.
Chief, on a personal level, can you talk about the bravery? Can you talk about the bravery of your firefighters who are going in there not knowing if that rubble could shift, if there could be another collapse?
This is the risk that we take. It's the risk versus benefit. Every time we have that belief that there's hope, with personnel that are trapped, we do risk our lives. It's,
I just want to speak to this as well.
So
it's incredibly moving to be on site with these safety personnel, fire rescue. They are totally motivated to find people. They have to be pulled off the shift. That is how motivated they are to continue their efforts.
Last question.
Two questions. One, you've got a breakdown of the nationalities of the people who are unaccounted for. And secondly, when was the last time that someone was pulled out of there? Physically, what time was it that someone was pulled out alive?
Okay. Before, I just want to make another point to this gentleman. This work is being done at extreme risk to these individuals. Debris is falling on them as they do their work. We have structural engineers on site to assure that they will not be injured, but they are proceeding because they are so motivated and they are taking extraordinary risk on the scene every day.
Are you able to confirm that fatalities are children?
She's going to repeat that in Spanish.
Okay. Quiero decir que estos hombres y mujeres están los héroes de esta época. Están trabajando en condiciones muy peligrosas.
We have gotten a number of significant updates from officials here about this 12-story partial building collapse here in Surfside that has now confirmed to have killed 4. Another 159 are still unaccounted for, but still 120 are accounted for that they were able to pull out of the building, part of it that had not collapsed. They have confirmed as well that 4 people were pulled from the rubble. The work here does continue. Why? As the mayor of Miami-Dade County just said, because we have hope. Because we have hope that we are going to find people alive in that rubble. That is why the work continues here hour upon hour and overnight. Our Victor Kindo, who has been here on the scene from the very beginning. Victor, the most important thing right now is trying to save lives. Sure, there are a lot of questions being asked and will continue to be asked about this building. What do we know? Because the experts we talked to, this is a relatively young building, and it makes no sense that a building, a structure would just collapse like this.
TJ, you're right. The immediate priority here is still on search and rescue, and then they will shift into the investigation into how this could have possibly happened. Half of this building, 55 units, just come crashing down here. We know that the building was in the process of a mandatory 40-year recertification process. That's where engineers come in and basically inspect the building. But this is common in this area. Surfside is home to a lot of older residents and older buildings, much like this one. I asked the mayor if there was anything else about this, and he agreed. He said this is area, and he couldn't wrap his head could have possibly happened. Our team also spoke with the professor from Florida International University who actually studied this exact building in the 1990s, and he was shocked at what he found back then, that the building was basically slowly sinking into the earth. And what he believes is that whatever caused it to collapse didn't start this year, but many years ago. TJ?
Those questions, important ones to be answered, but right now the most significant thing is to try to save lives. That work will continue around the clock. You can see and hear it continue behind me right now here in Surfside, but the update we've gotten from officials, 159 still unaccounted for, and a confirmed 4 have been killed in this deadly 12-story partial building collapse here in Florida. I'm TJ Holmes. We're going to return you now to your regular programming. For some of you, that will be GMA.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.